Welcome to another episode of our podcast. I'm excited to have Gokul and Priya back with us. In the last episode, we discussed about Copilot adoption and strategies, but it's definitely not straightforward, right? And we see organizations facing challenges in adoption. Hence, we thought of having a quick discussion around the common challenges and how to overcome them. Uh, Gokul, anything that you would like to share in terms of what challenges that you have come across with Copilot adoption?
Yeah, Ram, thank you. Sure. So there are many challenges people will come across with Copilot adoption, right? So one of the major challenge what I see is the license assignment and identifying the right use cases, right? So it's easy to purchase the license, but identifying the right persona to assign the license is always a challenge because we never know how the individual or the team is going to really make use of the Copilot license. So it's difficult to really identify the persona. Even though you identify the persona, the difficulty is to provide them with use cases, right? So use cases, yes, Microsoft is providing us with generic information around what kind of use cases that can be used with Copilot, but not every use cases will be very useful for the organization, right? Because each organization operates differently, each team will have different needs, and this generic use cases can support them only for a certain extent. It cannot support them 100%. So we have to dive into the each business unit, talk to each team, understand what they are currently doing, how Copilot can really help them to improve things, right? Because they never know what is the capability of Copilot, what functions can be used with Copilot. So it's our duty to really understand their workflow, their day-to-day task, and then identify what really how Copilot can really help them uh, uh, with in order to get more value out of it. So seat assignment and use cases is something I see it as a challenge, as an initial challenge, but there are other challenges as well. For example, change management, security, and so many more, right? So apart from the seat assignment and use cases, so for example, Priya, have you ever come across any challenges specific to change management?
Yeah, that's true. Thanks, Gokul, for a very good question. So, change management, yeah, many companies, like for example, even in my company, the change management is a big thing because people are not ready to adopt, right? They have resistance to change because they are used to the traditional tools and whatever applications they are using. So, they are a bit hesitant to go to the new Copilot or AI, anything to the new technology. And also, we saw that lack of understanding because many individuals think that Copilot is something that will give the data what you need. Yes, that is right, but beyond that there are many use cases and many things which Copilot can do, which can bring time saving and also cost saving to the company. So I feel that lack of understanding is there because they don't understand how Copilot can effectively help them. And also, like, they're already loaded with many tools and they're already loaded with many things. So bringing Copilot inside their day-to-day routine and make them understand how Copilot can be useful is a very big challenge, right? So what I would say is, like, for any successful change management, what we need to do is we need to understand or explain the team on why we need this, right? And we can, and there are a lot of options which we spoke, but we need to involve users at the early stage, so get them feedback from them and also provide them with the relevant trainings. So other key challenges I can see is that they are self sufficient with the current tech, I mean current tools which they are using, because Copilot is something that will that can integrate with a lot of third party and also internally. So as a team, when we are doing a pilot rollout, we need to talk to individual users and also individual BU. So as Gokul said, the whatever the use cases we see, even within the organization, it is not same for all the BUs, right? So there are a lot of challenges over there, where that is why Microsoft is coming up a lot of monitor and measuring actions, which we will discuss further. What do you think about this, Ram? Like, these are the things which I face personally, but do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think well said, right? Segregation of tools and applications is pretty much important, and that's where you can tell the organizations, okay, this is where Copilot can fit in, right? So that's pretty much important. And as Gokul also said, profiling exercise for license assignment, I always think is key. You have to segregate your user profiling as well, and that's where you can identify valuable use cases, which gains more what do you say, control over the leadership team as well in terms of what you're going to achieve with the Copilot journey. Uh, the other important challenge I see is the security one, which most of the organizations have, right? Specifically with data privacy concerns. We talked about it in our previous conversations as well, like ensuring sensitive information is protected and not exposed to unauthorized access is very much important. I think that's where, as an administrator of Copilot or on Office 365 administrator, you have to be very much clear in terms of like what controls are there within Copilot organization, and then you have to ensure your legal and compliance team are very much comfortable with the same. And when I said compliance, right, compliance issues is another problem. Where meeting regulatory requirements like GDPR, HIPAA, or some organizations also have like local responsible AI assessments. A few companies which have known have made RAI as one of their mandatory learning courses as well, right? Just to ensure that responsible AI is pretty much key with all these new AI technologies coming in. The other major issue which I can see is the cyber threat, right? So elevated risks of cyber vulnerabilities is completely a new challenge for most of the organizations. Um, one more thing under the same umbrella is the data management challenge, right? Like the data integration plays a very key role. Google, have you seen any instances in your area where you have data integration challenges?
Sorry, I was on mute. So yeah, so data integration is always a challenge on certain extents, right? So for example, we have different types of agents: declarative agent and custom agent. So if we really wanted to build a custom agent, then the challenge is with the development skill, right? So you have to have the right skill set in place to really define how the custom agent should work. So people with strong developer skill set is definitely needed for doing such tasks. And when it comes to other integrations, for example, if we really wanted to integrate it with ServiceNow or Jira or Confluence, we have built-in connectors in place, so we will be able to easily use the built-in connectors. But there are certain other applications where there won't be built-in connectors available, so we have to create a custom API connector for those applications to be connected with Copilot. But third party of apps often comes with custom APIs and SDKs that may not directly align with how Copilot expects to interact with code bases, right? So these are the current challenges which we really faced during integrating it with third party applications.
Great. So to add to what Gokul said, we spoke about the change management challenges, right, with regards to Copilot. And many people are not aware of the options that Microsoft offers. So there are a lot of funding programs. Yeah, separate cost is involved, but the adoption free kit, which Microsoft provide, that is a free kit with a, you can directly go to the website and you can see a lot of use cases and a lot of videos on how people are actively using. So something might match up with your organization's requirement. But there are separate funding programs like Copilot Adoption Accelerator or Jumpstart program as well. So these are the things which Microsoft itself comes up, right, to encourage people to go for Copilot, and a lot of trainings, like there are a lot of partner incentives also there. So we need to explore those as well with respect to the change management. Yeah.
Yeah, I think very well said. And just to add on to what Gokul shared, right? I think there is a documentation around on Microsoft in terms of what graph connectors are currently available, and also it clearly tells you how we can also create a custom connector. But I definitely agree with it, right? If you're looking for a custom agent and you wanted to build some applications on top of it, integrate with some third-party tools, you definitely need some coding knowledge, which some organizations might not have, right? So that's something, another key area to overcome, and that's where the whole point comes together, right? Like, how do we profile users, and how do we segregate applications? So you clearly know, okay, this is my roadmap for the next 6 months or 1 year. These are the things which I'm trying to achieve with Copilot. And that's something really key, and that's where the ROI challenge comes in, right? Like, you have to ensure that you have defining clear metrics to measure the return on investment. As Gokul pointed out, uh, identifying use cases specific to BUs is a major challenge which every organization have. You might have like a templates for HR, finance, marketing, but it might not suit for every organization, right? Like, everyone has their own, I mean, KPIs and the project goals to overcome. So you have to understand and have a clear metric on how you can measure the return of investment. And ROI again is not something immediately visible, right? So it's making it hard to justify the initial investment. So you have to wait for a longer period of time to clearly see like what's the long term benefits are. And the other important thing, right, like it might be a little funny. It's sometimes it's very I mean, organizations struggle to quantify the benefits, right? Like, you see improved decision making with Copilot, and efficiency has definitely improved. Like, for example, I use Copilot, I mean, drafting, right? Or I use it for summarizing my email or documents. And I also use it for any time like preparing content. But how do you, I mean, quantify this benefits? Because you can actually go back and say, okay, this is helping me efficient in improving the efficiency, but I cannot give you an ROI straight away. So that's one other major challenges which the organizations face. And have
Yeah,
you guys come across any issues with tracking usage?
yeah, we actually faced a problem with tracking usage. So we all know that we have a built-in dashboard where we will be able to really see what is happening around the Copilot space, right? So if we have assigned the license to multiple people, so we can see the usage report in it. So that comes with a very basic information, but Microsoft also provides the Viva Insights premium subscription for all the Copilot users. So using that, we will be able to get more information around it. But we faced a challenge with enabling that Viva Insights premium dashboard. So even though we are part of a Copilot customer from Microsoft, we were not able to enable it for certain reasons, and we have to work with Microsoft to get it enabled. And once after enabling it, we were able to see there are a lot of more options that is available compared to the default dashboard, which we had previously. And Ram, you rightly mentioned, right? So like we are mentioning it every time in our podcast. So measuring value is something not immediate. It is going to take time for us. And one more challenge, right? We talked about challenges with use cases, license assignment, change management, security. The major challenge is when you see all these, if you keep all these things other side, the major challenge is convincing your leadership to approve for Copilot, right? That is always a challenge. That's where as an administrators we have to be very clear on what is the value that we are going to present it to the management. So that's where these tools is going to help us. But again, there are certain limitations. So we can't provide an 100% value to the leadership to take a decision. It's always take decision of adopting Copilot and run it for a long time and then get a value out of it.
That's right. Yeah, that's very right, Gokul. Whatever you said. So adding to that, we for these kind of analytics, I mean, analysis is very important because that's when the management team or the respective team will know how we are saving on the time as well as the cost, right? So we can also integrate with Power BI to provide visual usage patterns. So I mean, we can check for the usage, and also we have like even with Defender for endpoint, we can provide an insight on the security focused insight. So how what are the applications that the endpoints, like the devices where the Copilot is implemented, and how it's helping. So these gives the behavioral analytics, and those patterns are helpful in for the organizations to see, okay, what are the improvements that Copilot brings to their organization. Yeah, that's a very good point. Thanks.
Yeah, and the other one which everyone have to keep in mind is benchmarking. Like the lack of benchmarks to compare performance before and after Copilot adoption is another problem, right? Uh, you both rightly pointed out in terms of Viva Insights dashboard and usage reports, but it something becomes little difficult, as I earlier pointed out, like quantifying the benefit, right? So how do we benchmark? Like organizations have to come up with a way to identify, okay, this is where I wanted to compare my results, and then before and after Copilot I can show some value out of it. And then feedback mechanisms would be really helpful here, like collecting and acting on users feedback, right, where they lag, where they would need to have some improvements from the organization, like from the deployment team, right, like saying, okay, I need some kind of a learning. As Priya pointed out, there are a lot of free learning materials, and then the adoption kits, a lot of training videos which Microsoft have released, even for the agent creation, the agent templates. There are a lot of these things available over the internet from Microsoft side, but getting feedback from users would really help to see where they lack in terms of knowledge, and help them develop from that side of things as well.
Yes, Ram. So this is not a static, like you implement Copilot and it's done. No, it's like dynamic. So we keep fine tuning based on the user feedback. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, very well said, right? The adoption of Copilot shouldn't be like an one-time excitement, but rather should be like a sustained practice. Consistent usage is pretty much key, and it's crucial as well in terms of bringing its capabilities and achieving long-term benefits. All right. I think
Yeah.
great session, guys, as always. Thanks for your insights, and it was very much engaging to understand the real-time issues what people are going through, and I'm sure it's going to help few of the listeners of this podcast. We'll meet in our next podcast definitely, and thanks again, Priya and Gokul. Great to having you both.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ram and
thank you,
Gokul.
Ram. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, Priya. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.